We have Cuz Kathy in the building. Welcome, welcome. What would you want to tell Supreme right now?
I want to tell him basically that I miss him, and I'm thankful for when he was out here, the support that he have given me and my family, and he was always there for us, and how he brought unity to this family as far as family reunion. And I just want him to know that since you've been gone, our family has been falling apart. Basically, we no longer have family reunions and things that we used to do when all our aunties was here and our my mother was gone and my auntie stepped in and took care of my mother's sisters and brothers, took care of all of us. The family being together and kept together, it's like it had disappeared. And I pray to God that one day that you do come out and that this family do come together before all the elders, such as myself and yourself and Barbara, Fran, Greg, and all of us, leave this earth like our mothers and fathers did. That this family come together as a whole and support one another, as we used to.
Kathy, one of his dear friends mentioned that Preme was, or still is, a freedom fighter, and that he's really a political prisoner because he did so much for his family and his community. Those were the things that were dear to him. What do you say to people that try to make him a villain?
What I say to the people as myself also too was also one of those people, a hustler out here on the street. My cousin didn't like me hustling. My cousin didn't like me coming to Queens when I come to get my drugs. I'm not ashamed of what I did. I did what I had to do for my family. But growing up in a community where you have to survive, and there's only one way to survive. If you work, get a degree, and get a decent job, you're okay. But when you out here hustling and you trying to give back to the community, which my cousin did, he didn't deny anyone an education or deny a child a pair of shoes. If you needed and your family needed, he was there for you. He was the type of that man. The system needs to understand that there's two different type of hustlers. There's a hustler who gives back to the community, and there's a hustler who just out here hustling just to have money in their pockets to go out partying or buy new clothes, a new pair of sneakers or whatever, just to be out here in the limelight. No, that's not hustling. My cousin Supreme was the type of person who gave back to, if your report cards was good, he gave to you. It wasn't like that he turned the drug money into more bad money. No, he didn't. The injustice, I think the system is injustice when it comes to people of color. We don't get a fair trial. And being out here in the community and seeing what's going on, and as a caseworker that I am now, that turned me out to be, and seeing and talking to the young brothers and sisters, hustling is not the same no more. It's not the same. There's no money out here to be made. Only way out is to get an education and try to make something of yourself. With my cousin tried to turn these youth into the right direction and telling them this is not the move, what I'm doing, get an education. That was why he put that money into their educational system, giving them money to buy books, clothes, what their mothers could not afford, to buy a decent pair of sneakers or Jordans on their feet. He was able to put in kids who live in Baisley Project on their feet and decent clothes on their back. But everybody judged him the wrong way. You can't judge us that way when I'm putting it back into my community. Not many of them does this.
A lot of people talked about it was survival, and it was understanding that it was bigger than you. And hearing you talk about him, he understood that it wasn't just his struggle, it was everybody's struggle. And if he could be part of the solution, there would probably be no more problem. Do you feel because he was so proactive that he was the person that became a target?
I believe, yes, the system targeted my cousin for the simple reason that he was loved by so many in the community, and he was praised and worshipped by so many that appreciate what he done for them. I mean, when my light bill is getting turned off and I come to you, Supreme, my light bill getting turned off, help me out, he helps you out. The system tried to put blame on him for things that he didn't have anything to do with it. Okay, if I'm locked up in jail and you come to me and you say, hey, I give you time off, I help you get out. If you say such, yes, I'm going to say whatever you want me to say if I know I'm getting time off. I feel my cousin was railroaded. I sat through that whole trial and I felt that my cousin was being railroaded by the DA and everyone else who was involved, even his so-called friends that was locked up. Okay, my thing is when you hustling out there on the street, you have no friends. You have no one to trust but yourself. You don't trust anyone but yourself. You work for yourself. You know, and things happen. I almost lost my life out here. I had my throat slashed, you know, but I survived it. But I also knew that with what's going on in the street, it's a survival or not survival. But my cousin was the type of person, he wanted out. He did what he did, and he built on it, and he wanted out. He tried to change his life around, but society did not want him to change his life around.
Said that. I'm glad you said that, because one of the things that we talked about throughout the day was how they painted him a picture when he was a teenager. He did these things when he was a teenager. He's now a grown man, and with life comes wisdom and understanding and compassion and all these other adjectives. What do you say to those individuals that are still in the past?
What I say to this individual that's in the past, first what I say to the justice system is that we need to have a law passed that the justice system cannot go into the system and get criminals to testify against someone and just to bring up how can I put the words in, unacceptable charges against someone. I will lie to the end if I know I'm going to be free. Okay, and you giving me my life, my freedom. I'll tell you whatever you want about this man, even though I know deep inside this man didn't have nothing to do with it. And from the testimonies, from what I'm hearing, you can't put my cousin in two places. The DA railroaded him and tried to say he was in two different places. Either he's here or there. Which one is it? Okay, as far as the answer to what the system is doing, the system railroad black men throughout the years. There's so many innocent people sitting behind bars doing life for whatever reason because the man said you are guilty. They put you fair in you when they sit you at that table, okay, and you break down because you can't take no more and you admit to that guilt. But my cousin didn't admit to anything. Okay, he did not commit any crime or put any killings, a murder, or how can I say it? Conspire against a murder. He didn't do it. But it's just there's so many people who are just so hateful in this world that want to see you down and don't want to see you succeed in life. Will bring you down, your own people. And this is our problem in our community when it comes to the justice system. We're too busy out here gossiping, fighting one another and started building each other up. Back in the days when we was down and out, we gave rent parties, we gave food parties to help our neighbors out. We didn't bother with talking about this neighbor or that neighbor. We didn't talk about their kids or that kids. We disciplined their kids. This is where it starts with our children. As a mother growing up in a community with a young man, I kept my son from the street. I kept him from the drugs. If I had to provide food on him, I'd rather go out there and hustle and provide that food for him. But also, I also knew my cousin said, Kathy, this is not for you. This life is not for you. You have too much on you. So my cousin taught me to move on, which I did, further my education. But I like to say to my cousin Preme, you are the best. And God will bless you and God will answer our prayers and bring you home. And to President Obama, before you leave this office, I pray that one day you would pass that law to free these unjust prisoners that's sitting on a life sentence that should not be sitting there like my cousin because he have done nothing wrong. He have committed no crime against no one, no murder against no one. Yes, he sold his drugs, but he sold his drugs and he provided for his community also. Okay, and there are many who have done worse than that and everything, but let this man free and let his family be able to communicate with him.
Many say hustling is a means to an end. And if they had the means, they wouldn't take that route and do those ends and provide that way. So my last question to you is, if, let's just say, he had another way and it looked like it because of the entertainment industry, if his plug wasn't pulled from that, do you feel he would still be out here giving, still be out here doing, still be out here teaching, still be out here influencing?
I believe my cousin, with the knowledge and his education background and everything, I think he would be out here educating the youth out here to stop this violence that's going on now. We're killing each other for no reason, for no apparent reason whatsoever. You grew up with each other. He would teach them and talk to them, this is not the way to live. I know my cousin, when it comes to what's going on in the world today, he would be more out here, be proactive against the gangs, against the drug selling. He would be out here trying to get these kids more involved into what they can connect to as themselves, because they're all good kids. There's good in everybody, but you have to find what these kids are good at. Some are good at music, some are good at poetry, some are good at art, some is good at writing, some is good at computer. We have so much kids that have so much. I always say when I go to these meetings with elected officials, there's a way to turn these gangs around if you really want to. They don't want to.
Well, here's a challenge for everybody that's watching right now. If you're not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. So our question to you is, which side of the fence do you sit on?